And a good Friday morning to you, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Well, have to do the weather no matter what, right? And here comes a pretty interesting storm. We got the northern branch, a lot of jet stream energy associated with this trough of lower pressure, but it's really the sort of split in the jet stream. It's the southern part of the polar branch of the jet stream that's really showing up here. That's going to be causing us some trouble. This is, of course, an old frontal boundary. Along that front, in between these two sort of bursts of energy, is this frontal boundary, and it is producing some snow. You can see some snowfall amounts here back 4 or 5 inches in some locations. And this is definitely cold air that's working in. You can see where the gusty winds are associated with that trough of lower pressure. And also, this is the spin up here. Not really showing well, but if you find weather parameters to make it show up, it'll show up. And indeed, we'll have an area of low pressure spin up along the frontal boundary and then take a track something like this. Maybe dump out a little bit along the coast here, the middle Atlantic, and then cut inland a little bit and then take a track through the Gulf of Maine. This is going to put us in jackpot snowfall with this. Latest model trends have been basically trending downward on total snowfall. And the reason is we do have these two frontal boundaries, this kind of odd setup here with a little bit of space in between. Let's show you based on the latest computer modeling. On the left-hand side, we have the European model, the trusty model, which I basically use as kind of a template for all other model comparisons. So the European model is about the highest skilled model, continues to be the highest skilled model. This is the NAM model, the North American Meso model. During snowfalls, sometimes it can be actually better than the European, and so we're going to compare notes here. So we start out, this is valid at about 10 o'clock this evening, this Friday night. And we're seeing just a little bit of mixed type precipitation, very scanty, very miniature amounts, minutia. That's going to be rolling into the northwest corner of the state. You can even see a little separate area of low pressure along this sort of frontal boundary, and these typically form with these little surface waves, and you can kind of see an anticyclonic curvature here, and that combination, that's another signal for freezing rain and sleet and mixed precipitation types. But this is going to go by the wayside fairly quickly, so this is valid at 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. This changes all to snow. It looks like it makes it down even with the NAM into places like the Barry-Montpelier area barely. It looks like maybe a little bit north of St. Johnsbury, so affecting mainly the northwest corner of the state. This is valid at about 4 o'clock in the morning. We get into 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, Eastern Standard Time. This will show up some moderate snowfall amounts with some sort of mixed precipitation, a little bit of rain shower activity, valid at 7 o'clock across the southern and eastern parts of Vermont. This is all going to change basically to snow, so we lose that fairly quickly. A lot of the warm air gets flushed out. We got colder air being driven in. This is our area of low pressure. It's a little dicey in terms of where it is located, and this was what's making this a little bit more complex for a kind of a nor'easter. This has got holes in it, but it does drop 989. You can see 983. And as that area of low pressure tracks off the Cape Cod, Massachusetts, we're going to see the heaviest snow work into the southern part of Vermont. A little bit of sleet mix here, and this will put a sort of wet snow loading potential basically just a little bit to the north and west of this line. So, but it's fairly short-lived, and that is the colder air comes in fairly quick, aloft and at surface, and makes medium dendrites. That's snowflakes, and then basically this departs. Now, the NAM has a little bit more robust in terms of precipitation. The European, you can see here, still fairly robust, but not as impressive, so we're seeing the snowfall totals start to come down. Let's take a look at that. This is valid at about midnight tonight, so just a smidge gets into the northwest corner of the state. And then we start to run the model here. This would be 9 o'clock 09Z, so that's valid at 4 o'clock on Saturday morning. Just a little bit of snow starting to accrue, not so much even on the. This is the high resolution Canadian model, and just kind of doing a comparison on that. The models are in pretty good agreement overall. This is valid at 7 o'clock in the morning, so up to a couple of inches across some parts of the interior Champlain Valley away from the lake and across the northern greens. and this snow will continue to spread further to the south and east. This is valid 10 o'clock, and you can see the same kind of thing going on with the high-resolution Canadian model here, which is a very good model, by the way. And you can see we're up to almost working on 5 inches total snowfall. This is valid at about noon. That's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So about somewhere between 3 and 6 inches in these locations here. And then continuing into the afternoon, that's when the heavier snow falls. This is valid at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. That'd be 9, 10, 11, and midnight. And most of the snow will have actually had fallen at that point. And this is about 10 to 1. This is a snow intensity over a period of 1 hour. So you can see the accumulating snow rates are basically not here. This is just kind of trace amounts. We get to around 1/10 of an inch. So in an hour's time, around 3/10 of an inch. Moderate snowfall is anything over about 5/10 of an inch. And we're getting into that here. This is valid at about 10Z. That would be about 5 o'clock in the morning. That's 6 in the morning tomorrow. And we're into snowfall rates coming in a little hotter than moderate, or light, you might say, in the low end of moderate. And you can see it kind of flux back and forth. It kind of comes down just a little bit during the mid part of the day, back up. And you'll note that basically the hard drops here, or Canadian high resolution, is looking at stronger, heavier snowfall rates back across southern parts of Vermont when this closest to this wave of low pressure, making this a little more complex. And you can see that it's mainly in our southern parts of Vermont. We're still at 7/10 of an inch of Montpelier, 6/10 of an inch per hour rates, 1/2 inch per hour rate. So moderate snow, lighter snow on the back end here. I would call this moderate, getting closer to heavy. And then it moves on out, and we start to see things calm down and wind down during the evening hours. This is when the stronger winds are going to blow. There's a little secondary, as you can see, this kind of wraps around the area of low pressure, and the little wave of low pressure, kind of a vorticity lobe, is going to track into the region, and that maxes out roughly around midnight on Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Fairly light snowfall rates, but a little more accumulation during the overnight period. And by Sunday, it's all finished up and all done. And looking at wind gusts, we're just going to run this here. This is during the day Friday, and here we go. This is midday Saturday. Now, our wind gusts have really come down. This is good trends for utilities, but note, these are the areas really to watch. I think is really going to be, once again, carried over along the summits of the Southern Green Mountains into some parts of Windsor County and especially Windham County. But these gusts are generally looking a little bit down from previous model runs here, so the trends are with us. And just one little flare-up closing in around 45, 50. It looks like a south of Mount Snow around that Route 9 corridor area. So strongest winds, again, southern parts of Vermont. But right now, this is way down compared to what it used to be. A function of the area of low pressure being a little bit more complex and not quite as deep. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.